Okay, day 2 of the 2-day vlog is starting right now, and we're in Ushguli. We ended up sorting out our accommodation. Yeah, we got a place to stay tonight, so let's get checked in and then we'll get out and shoot some photos. Guest house is definitely guest housey. We paid $22 a night for this, which is not great value to be honest. But, I mean, with a location like this, you don't really care. We have a view straight out at the mountains and a couple of the towers. It's pretty epic, and I think it'll be a cool vibe. We're eating at the guest house as well. So let's go do that. Get some energy for our sunset shoot. So I gotta say, it's only like 2,200 meters here, and I'm struggling a little bit with the altitude, or maybe not struggling, but definitely feeling it in my chest, which is crazy because I usually don't feel it until about 3,300 meters. But yeah, cool. We're at the guest house. The guest house is cool. They've laid out a bunch of food for us. Basically, all of the houses here in town have converted into guest houses. And I think it's awesome to see how tourism can help in development, how tourism can infuse money into the local economy like it is here in town. Greg, are you hungry?
I am hungry, and this looks amazing. How awesome is this spread for where we are?
What are you gonna eat first?
I think I'm gonna tuck into this soup and then maybe a little bit of the beans in the bowl. I haven't had much of the Georgian bread yet, so that looks pretty good. Chicken salad, the eggplant salad. Wait, you said first, right?
Basically, when you hang out with Greg, he eats all the food and you just get the scraps left over. Okay, we're off on our photo adventure. It is 7 p.m. or just after 7. Sun sets at 8:30. Alpenglow potential is at about 8 o'clock, usually about a half an hour, 15 minutes before sunset. And we have no idea where we're going. Literally no clue. But when we did drive in, we saw what looked like one of these old buildings with the towers isolated back towards this mountain. And the crazy thing is that mountain is actually Russia. So in a way, I'm basically Sarah Palin. I can see Russia from my backyard, which is awesome. And yeah, hopefully we get some light. Hopefully I survive the hike. Don't know why the altitude's beating me so bad today. So Jody's just seen a sheep. So there's a good chance she won't be joining us for sunset. Jody's feeling the altitude too, which makes me feel better. Strong. Are you not short of breath or anything?
Not at all.
So I'm the only one feeling the altitude. Town is really cool. The town is really, really cool. And I think tomorrow morning we're gonna photograph town some other way. But right now, I think this scene's gonna be all about this mountain. And you've got this building in the foreground, and with a nice backdrop of leading lines up to some alpenglow, that could be epic. Hello. Hello. So compression is a funny thing. Telephoto compression can make this scene look epic. We found this spot, and I think this is the shot. Even though if you were to just walk up here, you'd think you want to get closer to that old building, which I'm assuming is a church because I see a cross and I know nothing about this. But with telephoto compression, it reaches out in the landscape and makes the building look really dramatic under a massive mountain. And the reason I'm shooting it right here, or I'm gonna shoot it right here, is because the way the shadows are, it almost creates a frame around the building, and I think this is gonna be perfect, and the photo will look nothing like this. basically as soon as I stopped filming that, the light stopped being in the back of this shot where I needed to frame it. So I think we're gonna move a little bit farther that way and maybe get a little bit more of the dramatic peak. So we're gonna walk up a little bit higher here. So I haven't talked about the new lenses recently, but I do have two new lenses, 24-70 and the 100-400, and both of the lenses are what I'm working with today. And actually I like them both. I'm using the 24-70 more than I expected and finding myself, at least with landscape, shooting a lot 50-70. I had no idea how often I'd want to be that focal length. And right now I'm exactly that focal length. I'm using kind of this valley to create a V that leads straight into the old church with the mountains at the backdrop. There's some clouds right now on the peaks, and eventually if this catches light, it'll be amazing. But I'm gonna show you an image right now, because I'm taking an image right now, just to make sure I get something. I've got a 4-stop medium grad on, and yeah, I think like light or no light is such a beautiful scene that it just works. So we're gonna wish for light, and I'm gonna shoot this and then basically switch between this and the 100-400, because the 100-400 vertical and totally telecompressed is just gonna look ultra dramatic. Greg's got the drone up, and I'm kind of kicking myself for not taking my drone on this trip, just because I actually think the best photo is probably just a drone photo, slightly elevated right in front of this with the mountains in the backdrop. How's it look?
Yeah, it looks amazing.
One of my favorite things about shooting in Georgia is almost every time we've gone out to take pictures, there's been a dog that's come and joined us. And they don't like bark, they don't cause trouble, they kind of just come and lay by you and act cute. I'm not sure how Greg spotted this, but way off that way, there's some kids just screaming behind me. I don't know if Greg spotted this, but there's two black spots way out that way, and Greg's like, I think those are two priests. And if you've come to Georgia or if you haven't seen them, Google like an old Georgian priest, I think is probably the best way to say it, to describe it. But they kind of look the same way you think of maybe a cleric in the Middle East. They have black robes on and these big beards, and they look really kind of intense. And there's two of them on a hill way out back that way. And I just took the 400mm, and I don't think the photo's any good because it's really hard to show what it is, even at 400mm. But I took some video on the cropped 4K, and I think it looks so cool. So that kind of brings me to the 100-400. I was worried that I was gonna pack it around and not use it very much. I think I've actually taken as many photos on my 100-400 as all the rest of my lenses combined so far. I'm absolutely loving it. It's sharp, it's crisp, it's fast to focus, the video looks good, the stabilization looks good, and it might be my favorite lens. I basically filmed a whole vlog just standing in one spot, and I feel kind of proud about that. The light was really nice, but it wasn't epic. But yeah, it was still beautiful in this scene. I think it doesn't matter what the light looks like at this scene. It's so cool that it just works. Greg and I are gonna get up early tomorrow morning and shoot probably one of the villages, one of the towns, because this is beautiful, it's interesting, but I think also the towns are really nice. It might just need to be a little bit later in the morning when there's light coming through the valley. So check for that vlog tomorrow, and I guess I'll see you there. Peace.